Hi there, my name's Mark Wilson from Cahoots Photo Books in Perth. In this session we're going to cover the Easy Designer Workspace and walk you through the different functions of the different panels. Okay, let's jump right in. You'll see the workplace is divided into four main parts. You've got the main design workspace or work panel right in front. It currently contains the cover because I have selected a product with a printed cover. If I selected a product with a fabric cover, this particular part would be missing because there's no design needed for a fabric cover. On the left-hand side, we have what I would call our assets that you would be wanting to use in order to design your photo book. The most important of those, of course, are your images. And this top panel is where you would navigate to wherever you have stored your images in a folder, one or more folders on your computer's hard drive. So when I click on any particular folder, it's going to show me thumbnails of the images inside that folder. I have two main options for sorting these thumbnails. One is to sort them by name, or I can sort them by date. If I sort them by name, it can be that the images are not sorted in the order I'm expecting. That's because, for example, we can see here some of them have prefixes, letter prefixes that are different from the prefixes from another device. So they tend to be organized by device and then by the order they were taken. If I choose to sort by date, that may cause an issue if we have photos that have come from, example, from a camera that may not have had the date set correctly when the photos were taken. So that can also cause problems. The recommended route is to, where you have this issue, create subfolders and place the images you want in that particular part of the book in those subfolders. That way you can work through folder by folder, placing the content into your book and having it structured the way you intend, rather than having to hunt up and down within one large folder with perhaps hundreds of photos. That can be quite tedious and time-consuming and potentially frustrating. We also have the ability to filter our photos. We can choose to see only the ones that are used, or we can have a look at the ones that are not used. Looking at the photos that are not used can be quite helpful because as you work through your book and you place those photos onto the pages, your choices become fewer as the number of photos used becomes greater. So towards the end of the book, you hopefully only have a handful left to place and to find. You can also make your thumbnails larger by clicking on this magnifying button, or you can make them smaller. It really depends on how many photos you're dealing with and perhaps how good your eyesight is. You can also click on these little strips that are placed around the workspace. That will compress or display the relevant panel. So once I've chosen my folder of photos, I could click on this and give myself more room to see what I'm doing. When I need to navigate to a different folder, I can click on it again and I see more. I can also drag this panel and make more of it visible. Similarly, I can drag it up and make less of it visible. The other assets that you will commonly want to use may be the Backgrounds tab. If we click on the top level, we've got a few color swatches that you may wish to use, or we have other categories of backgrounds that you might want to explore to see if any are suitable for your particular book. And then elements would be another one that might be useful for you to explore. There are particular elements that can be useful depending on the type of book you're making. Along the top here, we've got your page thumbnails. We've mentioned the cover. We have a single facing page which follows that cover. That is a right-hand page. So a single page. The left-hand side is the inside of the back cover, which you cannot print on. So there's no possibility for you to design anything on that left-hand side. Then we have pages 2 and 3, pages 4 and 5, etc. At the moment, we have only up to page 16 because that is the minimum number of pages that we print. Page 16 currently is the last page. It's a left-hand page. The right-hand side is the inside of the cover, which you cannot print on. As you work through your book, you'll see little miniature versions of your design appearing in these thumbnails, so you'll be able to see where you wish to navigate to if you're inserting or moving pages. For the main work area, we do have the option to display a ruler, which will give you a visual representation of the distances that your page is taking up. You can also switch on a grid. In this case, it's a 5mm grid, or you can toggle it off as you can with the ruler. You can zoom the page to the real size if you want to enter your physical monitor width. And you can also zoom to a full page if you've zoomed in or out. This is the product that we have chosen to design. And on this side, we have the option to look at a full screen page preview of our book. This is useful at the end of the project, but just before you submit it, to give a visual check of your layout. The only thing you can't check with this preview button is your photo resolution. You need to be careful and watch the software warnings to deal with photo resolution issues. But all other layout issues can be visually checked using the page preview button. For example, to make sure that all your text is properly placed and visible. On the right-hand side, we have our templates and properties panel. If we are on the cover, we see the potential templates for the cover that we have supplied. You can design your own if that's what you want to do. Similarly, for pages, we see the page templates that we have provided, but you can design your own if you want to. The properties panel has a number of properties that can be set when we're dealing with images that we're placing in our book. Some of these may be missing. That may be the case if you are in basic mode. Basic mode is the default, and that hides some of the more complex parts of the software from you so that you can just deal with the basics. If you find you need to accomplish something and it doesn't seem to be there, that function, you can switch expert mode on. Gives you a few different options in the properties. As well, it gives you extra options in these top level menu items. So if we're in basic mode, when we're dealing with images, we can add an image, or we can add text, or we can add a page. If we turn expert mode on, we have the option to do a little bit more. So that's pretty much the tour of the workspace. In other sessions, we'll be showing you how to actually put together your photo book step by step. Thanks for watching. See you next time.